Did you have negative experiences? Can you talk me through one of them?
When I was about 23 years old, I went to a gig like I did every night. I went with a few friends from work. We met the manager of a couple of artists that we were trying to sign. He started plying me with drinks and buying me shots. We ended up drinking quite a lot and then going back to mine to continue the night. He fell asleep on the sofa and I went to bed. I woke up in the middle of the night and he'd got into bed with me and his fingers were inside me. He'd lit all the candles in my room. He acted like it wasn't a big deal, but he did stop. But I didn't know how long he'd been doing it before I woke up. He went back to sleep on the sofa and in the morning he was gone.
How did you feel in that moment when you woke up and you knew what was happening? That must have been hugely traumatic.
It was one of the most horrible experiences of my life. I felt truly violated. So I went to work and I very quietly told people. I was encouraged to keep quiet on the matter because it would hurt our chances of signing his artist. He actually got away with a song.
Greetings. Oh, I see a move already. Go on with this Smurfette.
Really? You're just gonna call on blue lipstick like that?
Yes, I am.
I never get to wear blue lipstick, everybody. So today I took the opportunity. Welcome to Here to Help You. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing out there? Hopefully you're watching, and I know we started a little bit late, and things do happen. I think I say this like every other week.
Probably. You know, like it's not really like
genetics.
A growing trend.
Can I default on genetics at all?
You need to tell the people the truth. How you are moving with the spirit.
You make things sound so much better.
Thank you very much.
No You're worries. A walking euphemism. So, guys.
Happy Caravana Independence the whole nine.
Oh yeah, let's Caravana Independence Day. Jamaica Independence Day yesterday. Listen to me, eh? Jamaica Independence Day yesterday, and I had to turn up a little bit. I'm proud of us as a people. I'm sorry. I love all the islands. I think we all have a lot of the same history, so I celebrate everybody. But it's that whole hometown, homegrown.
Bias.
Even though I was born in Canada, I'm first generation Canadian. I'm not full blown Canadian.
There's still a bias. You can't front on that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I love it. I love my island because we're strong people.
For real. Hold on, before we get into I need to say this, even though we've already called today, right? But happy birthday, Mom. From Simone and I, we love you very much.
Oh, Mom, are you watching?
Hopefully she is. Right? Who knows? Maybe she'll catch it on the rebound or the replay.
To be good. I'm hoping that my friends and family are not watching all the ones I do because I say some stuff sometimes, you know. So, guys, you know what? We have a good show. So, it's interesting because I like to be authentic in everything I do.
Okay.
And we just watched a clip about, and we're going to go into it, guys. We're talking about some heavy subjects today. Some things that I know, honestly, for a man, it is a little bit awkward, especially with two women energies in here that are pretty strong. Because we do have Alicia Cinnamon here today. Alicia, sorry. I keep saying Alicia. I don't know why. That's not her name. Alicia Cinnamon. She's here today. She was supposed to be here last week, but things happened.
She's going to get into that in regards to what happened last week, which
that's why
delayed her appearance.
Yeah, man.
Right?
She's going to be here to, like, chop it up a little bit. But I showed that video because one of the topics she's going to be talking about is sexual harassment and sexual assault in the music industry here in Toronto. And maybe some people are going to get called out.
Stop it. Anyways.
And maybe what? And maybe not. But the thing about when you do watch this, you're going to know it's you.
Now, from a male perspective, now, just something that as men now that we must go ahead and ensure that this does take place, which is to ensure the safety of our women.
Yeah, but not everyone's a walking euphemism like you, Dave.
But that's the thing.
There's some men that are grimy out there.
That is true. And that's exactly it. I mean, of course, we're bypassing, of course, all the seeds which have been planted and so on and so forth. Right?
Yeah.
But for us to grow as a people, right? They say that, you know what, you can always tell a society by the way the society treats its women. Right? So I'm taking this in as a student today, because you know what? Yes, you're absolutely right. There's things that are going to be said today which I cannot relate to.
Yeah.
Right? However, though, it's a learning process for myself. Hopefully, it'll be a learning process for other men out there as well. Right?
We need to show this video to men today.
Let's do it.
Like, we need to push it out a lot today. And I'm hoping when you guys watch it, you push it out too, because it's important. Like, I think you're right. I think as sexes, we don't know sometimes. This all goes back to a root problem, which is the ability to communicate with each other, which is an understanding, first of all, that we are different. Men and women. Right. It doesn't matter how much you think you can make a man think like you, woman. It's never going to work. That book, Mars, Venus, that bullshit, it's real. And no, but sometimes a lot of us, it's wise almost being the counsel of the opposite sex, as long as they're sensible. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we pray for understanding, right?
Yeah.
So, because through that understanding of effective communication allows us to go ahead and be harmonious, as they say, right? So, I mean, it's still a learning process for a lot of us. Of course, for us men, of course, emotions are definitely not our thing, right? For myself, I'm going to speak for myself here. Emotions are definitely not my thing, right? I just don't know how to manage everybody else is just with my own sometimes.
He's sociopathic. He's learned how to feign emotions. That's what he's trying to say. That's another talk, by the way. That might be next week's show. No, it's a real show. It's going to happen. But anyhow, you know what? Because before we bring her, I want to go over.
Stop with the name calling, all right?
I'm not name calling. I did name call.
Yes, you did.
I did not. I labeled. Get it right, Dave. You're going to criticize me for doing something. All right. So let's look at today some of the things. So some words that jumped out at me when I was doing my little research on what's going on with this. And what I did, I tried to get some numbers for you guys that you can understand kind of, and have for the numbers people, you can see what's happening and think about how maybe, have your own views. I'm not going to tell you how to feel about the numbers, right? So there's some words that came up, and I want you guys to think about how they hit you when you hear them. So the word slut shaming, okay? And the word, the idea of victim blaming. Okay, and then I want you to kind of see how those words resonate, man or woman. Okay, so
before you continue,
yes,
what you're going to get into now is going to provide us with a definition for both.
Okay, it's slut.
But still,
you should be ashamed of yourself, slut.
All right, this is you're gonna. All right, cool.
Victim blame. It was your blame, your fault.
See, that's better.
There you go.
That's much better.
Done with you. So I read an article in Psychology Today written by Beverly Engel. So I'm going to go over some of these. Her topic is, why don't victims of sexual harassment come forward sooner? Because there is that trend, and I'm going to tell you this now. There's a lot of women I speak to here in Toronto who have been sexually assaulted,
right,
sexually harassed. They're in the industry, or they're around people in the industry, and they don't speak up. It sometimes takes them a long, long time to come to the idea that, you know what, something has happened to them which was not their responsibility, but they take it on themselves. So numbers. You were going to say something?
I do have a question.
Okay.
Right. In that lack of a response or lack of action taken on by the victim, would you say that it's them just still coming to grips in regards to what has taken place? Or simply is it like a switch that simply just turns off?
I think it's a mix of like emotions. Like it's trying to figure out what just happened.
Okay.
And sometimes you can stay in that what just happened for months.
Okay. Makes sense.
If you're not careful.
Right.
Years.
Right. Makes sense.
If you don't take care of it. It's just like, what just happened and now what? Because then you see what happens to other women who come out and say something, and it's like there is those two words that come up, victim blaming, where like, well, you kind of were wearing a short skirt though when you went there. That's victim blaming. Like,
but it is victim blaming.
I can wear a short skirt if I go there or not. That doesn't mean, you know
right.
what I'm saying?
No,
I
totally get it. Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
I totally get it.
That's the whole slut shame and, slame on you. Let's say if there's a girl who used to be slack in her past. Sometimes people will take that past and travel it with her. And
make sure it stays.
If things happen, it's like, you should have known.
Right, from
she
day
is
one.
Slutty.
Right.
Yeah, like that type of stuff. Where regardless of the past, you still don't know. No one has a right. Right? So.
Go on with it.
The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission reports receiving 12,000 allegations of sex-based harassment each year, with women accounting for about 83% of the complaints, which means there's about 70% of you men who actually complain because that happens to you guys too. You guys get sexually assaulted too.
I believe so.
No, I think it goes both ways.
I believe so. You know what? And I think it's maybe it's more of a pride thing for men in regards to like when it does happen, in a sense, because it's like, how could this happen to me?
Okay. Yeah, because you're supposed to like it, though. You're not really being harassed.
I'm supposed to like it.
No, but honestly, sometimes people do that. They hold it over the men's heads and stuff like that. Like, it'll be a job if a woman in power. It's usually women in power.
Right.
Right. If I had that power, I'd probably do it, too.
Thank you for being honest.
I'm just joking. I would never do that. Oh, no. I have more control. You know what we'll do? I'm going to go into a few of these. I think I'm going to have Alicia join us in the third segment. We'll go over a couple of these numbers and then bring her in. What do you think?
Yeah, why not?
Flow with it, right?
Yeah.
So I do have an interesting video, actually, I'm going to play. It's Maya, and it's on sexual harassment. You have to say, I'm good, F you, and walk away. And it's courtesy of Vlad TV. And then when we come back, we'll go over the stats, and then after, we'll just bring in Miss Alicia.
No worries.
All right? See you guys soon.
Stay with us, family.
There are a lot of young female artists that talked about being mistreated in the industry. You have Grimes and Kesha. How do you think it affects them, and do you think it's changed since you first started?
Well, I can't say that all women are treated unfairly, disrespectfully, but I can say that that happens all over the world in every or any industry, in any circumstances, whether it be personal relationships, in business, etc. You must protect your space, but you don't necessarily know what the agenda is behind someone speaking down to you, at you, etc. There are horrible things that happen every day, whether it be in the industry or not, mentally, emotionally, sexually, financially. And you have to break down your value. You really have to assess that and your standards. And it's very difficult if you don't know it, if you can't identify it regarding what's coming at you. And that takes some time to maybe step away if you walked into this game not knowing who you are and your limitations. There can be power plays and ultimatums given for the people that hold the power whether that be toward a female or male artist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I often find that a lot of women that I speak to suffer from that, you know, but you really have to, you really have to protect, you know, what you allow yourself to believe, because it will be fed, whether it be your body image, what you need to change about yourself, how you need to sound, what you need to look like, how you need to dress, who you need to date, what you need to say. You grow into that. If you start early in any game without knowing who you are and being solid in some type of foundation, it's very dangerous.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCN TV network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCN TV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
So that we can become the oppressors of ourselves. All this hatred among us has gotta end. Remember, you come from kings and queens. Show your wealth. Young men, just respect your bodies as well as your mind. Young men, it's not a weakness to be kind. You only live once, so live it wise. Your time will come when you have to answer to the most.
Listen. The more I listen to that song, the more I understand what's going on. Can you explain to the listeners on Vibe 105 what's going on inside of the song?
Right, so this song I originally wrote back in 2013 for a young man named Tyson Bailey who was gunned down in Regent Park. You can actually look up the story, it's on CBC's News for further details. After leaving, I was asked to sing at the funeral. After I left the funeral, I went to the studio and I just wrote this song to kind of preserve his memory in a positive light. There was a lot of young people that were there at their funeral. They were really upset, and given the demographics of the area, my biggest fear was that there was going to be retaliation. So after I put out the song, I just kind of tweeted anybody that hashtagged his name or any of the people that I met at the funeral just to kind of keep his memory positive. So it was originally a soul track, and I wanted to transfer it over to reggae so that I can reach as many different demographics with his story as possible.
So welcome back.
Yes.
Guess what, guys?
Yes, my lord.
You're the only one here. You have to answer. No, you don't. Actually, we have people inside the studio right now, so he's not the only one here. So I'm excited because what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go over some of the uncomfortable information first, because I think it needs to be absorbed.
Yeah, anything that you can go ahead and display today, right, and divulge is going to help us all to go ahead and have a better understanding
of certain things. And I only talk about this issue because I think it's a big issue that is kept quiet amongst the other issues that women in the industry have to deal with.
I could imagine, right?
This is just a really big one.
Right? Go on with it.
Okay, so I think before I left, I told everybody that 83% of the sexual-based harassment allegations came from women. So they said roughly 3 to 4 people experiencing such harassment never tell anyone in authority about it. Instead, the women typically avoid the harasser. They deny or downplay the gravity. And I'm actually going to go into a list of things that
could happen.
That why women don't say anything,
okay,
right? And the thing about it, why I want to get this out is because it could be happening to women. And I don't think maybe they're understanding that something is happening.
Right.
For whatever reason. Again, going back to those words, victim blaming and slut shaming, right? So let's do this. Let's go over what sexual harassment is. This is good for you. Remember you said you're...
Hey, man, I'm a student today.
Okay, so I don't see notebook, but I'll leave you alone. So sexual...
Digital age, you're not a cloud, you see me?
Okay, good.
All right.
Sexual harassment and behaviors that fall under this category include, and here we go, inappropriate touching, invasion of privacy. That means in people's business, in their phone, going through people's phone, sexual jokes, lewd or obscene comments or gestures, exposing body parts, showing graphic images. Why are you laughing?
Sorry, too many stories of hearing flashing
we're
body parts.
We're going to get those, okay? Unwelcome sexual emails, text messages, phone calls, sexual bribery, which I've heard a lot of, coercion, and overt requests for sex, sexual favoritism, being offered a benefit for a sexual favor, being denied a promotion or pay raise because you didn't cooperate. And of course, some women experience that more than others do, especially depending on the industry.
Position.
And in the music industry,
right,
they sometimes have to do that because it's a male. You said it today. It's a male-dominated.
Yeah, it is. It's a male-dominated industry.
Right.
Right.
So, the list goes on. Pretty much, if a woman says no, regardless of what she's wearing, regardless of what she may be coming to you for, it just means no. That's it. And anything past that, you now follow yourself into a situation.
Yes.
But you brought up an interesting point. You're talking about Terry Crews when we were talking about the 70% men that come out about that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when you see Terry Crews as Terry Crews is now, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a hulking of an African man.
Yeah.
Right. But of course, he was backed into a situation where simply he felt like there was no other way. Yeah. There was no other choice.
Yeah, so I did say it happens to both.
Right?
Right? It does happen. But again, if you don't understand what's happening, and I guess I understand. I get why he's coming out. It'd be important for other men who may be going through it.
You know what? Regardless, if he felt it's the right time, I think a lot of us had our reservations and had our apprehensions of that taking place behind the scenes anyways.
Okay.
Right? Whether it's now, of course, as a situation of course, Terry Crews, where you felt there was no other way, or for those who willingly look for an opportunity to get ahead.
Because that happens too.
Exactly, right?
Right.
So,
guys, okay. I'm not even going to go there yet. Let me wait. So, some things for women to look into if you have been through this, things that can happen, and again, you're not realizing it's happening, is feeling anxious all the time, the loss of self-esteem, which is understandable.
Right.
PTSD, so it's popular, people talk about it, post-traumatic stress disorder, which pretty much means not having a traumatic situation and all the stress, the depression that comes after that.
It derails you.
It derails you. It can throw off your life, right? And of course, suicidal behavior, which is nothing to be played with. But sometimes women feel at a point that they can't deal with it anymore because they don't. It depends on the situation.
Exactly, right?
Right, it really depends. So
and the person as well.
And the person. So, you know what? Let's end it there. What I want to do is I'll cut this segment short because we have Alicia here. And I really want to... Sarah, you said you're learning today?
I am.
I'm going to shut the up and listen today as well.
No worries.
I swear, Mom, see? All right, see you guys when we get back.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCN TV network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCN TV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
All right. All right. All right. You know what I'm saying? All right, girl.
Okay.
So, you know what's interesting? So I don't know how we connected on Instagram. And this happens with a few people where I connect with them and then, like, it's just, if I like what they're doing, if I see a consistency, I love consistency. I like people at least having some type of passion about something.
Right.
Right? And I follow. And if it's interesting, I like. And if I see the person really pushing it, I like some more.
Right.
And I think we just started like that. And then I actually got a chance to go watch her perform, and I was blown away. And I'm like, okay. I also see that she's not eat yet. Like,
thank you. Appreciate that.
I'm just speaking truth. If that one hurt, you might be the idiot. So,
oh gosh.
I appreciated that, and I said, you know, honestly, and it's funny because I really think that someone doesn't want this interview to happen. So this is why even more so, because if you guys understand the tribulations the last 2 weeks to get this happening.
That is true.
Yep.
Very
like
true.
Up to this very, like up to 10 minutes ago, guys. So I'm very happy to welcome the Queen of the North. I remember when I first saw that, I was like, who said she's queen though? Who said that I couldn't be queen? How she just said the name? I was like, that was clever. You can have it. Queen of the North.
Yeah.
My girl. The songstress. Miss Alicia Cinnamon.
Yes.
Welcome, girl. I wish we had a clap. We still don't have a clap button.
But at least, you know, we have to give her an on for culture.
Coming all the way from Scarborough.
Yeah.
My home. By the way, I don't let a lot of people know this, but
So that's your
girl.
Gotcha.
Like initially, but I left, you know, and then I got like, I tried to get bougie.
Yeah.
But it's there still. I really tried. Anyhow,
I'll leave
girl,
you to that, all right?
I have you here because without going into too much, I really want you to have your voice today. You have been doing this for how long now? How long have you been in the industry?
I would say I started off in 2013, but really started making a name for myself like the end of 2014, 2015.
Okay, so last five to 6 years. Okay, and you can see your rise happening. And as your rise has happened, you've had to deal with situations.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of situations where you probably wanted to speak and you haven't. And last week when we finally did connect, you said, you know what, Simone, I think it's time.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, if I can be that medium, go with it. So I want you to, where do you want to start? Where would you like to start? This is all you for the next 20 minutes. So where would you like to start?
I guess just really, you know, my experience as being an independent female artist in the Toronto industry, and just, I guess, it's been a blessing, but definitely there's a lot of barriers that I have to and still have to overcome, and just, you know, it's the stuff that we have to deal with being a female, being a black female in day-to-day society as is, but it's like intensified and magnified times like 1,000 when you're in the industry.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually have, you saying that, there's a clip that I'm going to show at the end of this one. Cardi B, Cardi Black. I'm thinking liquor here. Cardi B, she says exactly what you said. She's like, it's a monster in this industry.
Oh, yeah.
It is a monster, and if you're not careful.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you navigate this? How do you navigate this monstrosity, and what have you had to deal with?
I mean, every day is a learning process. You know, my grandma used to always say the devil comes in the most handsome disguise. So the people that come out, like as you guys were talking about sexual harassment earlier, it's so prevalent and it comes in so many different formations that a lot of times I didn't even realize that I was being sexually harassed until it's just like I felt uncomfortable. And I'm wondering, like, you know, am I complaining too much? Is this what everybody else goes through? Like, why am I the girl to always have to be the person like, nah, this isn't cool? But then when I realized I was talking to other females, and it's like they're going through the same thing, but it's kind of like this like hush hush, like don't stir the pot because it's working for us or we're trying to get ahead. But then when I looked, and it's like, are you really getting ahead? Like you're still doing the same shows, you're still getting the same amount of radio spins or whatever. It's just you so happen to maybe get hailed up at the club when you walk in instead. So it's like, is it really worth sacrificing your, morals and values for that? And I realized it wasn't. And then that's when I started, speaking up more. I was like, there's nobody, like, regardless of who was here, but there's nobody I feel in the city of Toronto that can do for me what I can't do for myself.
Okay.
So there's no reason for me. There's like, no offense to anybody, but there's no Diddy's, there's no Jay-Z's or any of that. So it's like, what are you really selling? Not to say I would, but what are you really selling yourself?
Diddy's.
But it's like, what are you really selling yourself out for? Like, just to get on a couple of festivals and stuff, like, just work for it. So
Right.
when I had people come to me with those prepositions and whatnot, it was funny to me because it's just like, well, if you're coming to me, that means that you're already seeing my work. So why would I diminish what it is that I've done and go back? And a lot of people will try to make you feel like you're less than in terms of what it is that you're doing. And it's like, I really, had to take some time back and just go through my own Instagram and go through my own social media and be like, man, I'm me that. Like, I did that. Like, and I didn't have to sell out. So that was definitely, going to studios and having like producers hold my stuff, my masters. If you slept with me, you would have had your stuff by now.
Right.
Like,
That type of face.
Yeah, and
yeah,
it was.
I've heard stories like that before. Yes.
And this was major because, and this is something I skirted around talking about because of who the people were. And this was around the time when the whole Bill Cosby case was, he just got, convicted or whatever it was just a couple months ago. And so everybody was in this gray space where to say like that Me Too movement, people were afraid of it. Women were afraid of it. Men were afraid of it. And I was just looking at it like, a lot of men, they're making jokes like, I can't even hug a woman anymore. Or I can't do this and I can't do that. And it's like, you can hug her if she invites that space. Yeah. But a lot of people, it's just like, when you have little kids and you force kids, oh, go give so-and-so a hug. Like, I don't believe in that. If a person's not comfortable with just going out of their way to hug that person, then don't make them do that.
Let them be. Yes.
Right. And so you have a lot of men that are just so comfortable just to touch and grab. And it's like, wow. Like, and I started questioning, like, am I giving off that energy? Like, I think I'm pretty reserved. Like, I have my moments where I like to dress up and be cute, but for the most part, I don't think I was giving off that kind of energy. So it's like, why do you feel this acceptable? And then I realized it was kind of like a cultural norm where a lot of women were just allowing it and they weren't saying anything about it. And we would talk about it amongst ourselves and how frustrating it was. But then when the time came to actually say something to these people, I was the only person speaking up. So I looked like the troublemaker.
Right.
So to speak. Yeah.
Did it, so with your own personal experience and of course all of these, because I like to call these things tests, right? Because you're definitely here for a greater purpose.
Yes.
Right? Do you ever find that while you were going through these tests and tribulations now, and if you have spoken out how this is maybe sacrifice, so in the eyes of everybody else, it may have sacrificed the position that you're supposed to be in their eyes, or as opposed to the position that you're currently in for yourself?
What do you mean?
So the direction that you're heading towards.
Right.
Right? And in regards to the path that you're traveling towards. Right? All of the trials and tribulations that you've been facing thus far. Right? Has it ever derailed you?
Oh, yeah. It derailed me in the sense where, how do I explain it? Okay, I'm a firm believer in everything that happens for a reason. Okay. So on the surface, it would look like it would derail me. Okay. Because it's like, I'm working on a particular project and like, for example, I can't get my music because I'm not going to sleep with the producer. So in that surface sense, it derailed me. But on a bigger scale, it's like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to take this song, go to another studio, get it done better. The song's been more intensified, more magnified. And so I always like, because there's so many quote unquote negative experiences that I've went through that I've learned how to flip that into a positive for me. Okay, good. So it works for me. But if I was somebody else, I would have probably given up a long time ago. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Going back to we're going to talk a little bit more about this when we come back. The sisterhood, because we talked about this very briefly. The women, how you guys treat each other. And I'm not just saying, not just in the industry, I'm talking about
in general.
In general. What there for you has been the toughest challenge with how you interact with some of these other women in the industry?
The hardest challenges for me is that I genuinely support other people. And I think, because we're so proud of that title, the Screwface Capital, that when you see somebody who's genuinely supporting, like I have I always say I don't fit in here. I have that Southern hospitality. Like when I say good morning, I mean it. When I ask how you doing, like I really want to know how you're doing. But a lot of people don't care about that stuff. So when you become, I'm, I guess for lack of a better word, overly friendly, people don't know how to receive that. So then it's like, okay, this person's a pushover. I can take advantage. And it's like, you don't need to steal from me. I'm already giving it to you. And that was like one of the biggest challenges. Like I started off with, I have an organization called Northern Queens, and there's probably been about maybe like 40 to 60 of us up to date. Just a lot of careers have been launched via Alicia Cinnamon, and a lot of people won't give credit for that. And I didn't do it because I want money or any of that stuff. It was really like, if I see a woman who's in a position where she's not getting enough shows and I have this outlet, or she's got great music but she doesn't know how to get to the radio, let me figure out a way to extend my resources. And when I was doing that with people, it's like they were stepping on my toes in the process. Like, while I'm bigging you up, you're over here tearing me down to the same person that I introduced you to. So it was hard for me because it was a big part of my brand is supporting women. I came out with like 10 girls, and as soon as I came out, and people didn't even know who I was. So just me even taking that time to put somebody else in the spotlight when I could have been greedy and kept all those resources for myself. And I said, nah, like there's no point in winning if I'm winning by myself. Like, it's fun to share the victories with other people and stuff. So that was the biggest setback. Like, I'm still like, it didn't change me, it just made me be smarter. But I still got the girls that I'm working with. Like, I got my lovely, got some up in the building right now, my Northern Queens here with me, just repping. And it just, it made me realize who I was. Like, this is really, I'm about building the industry. It's not just about building Alicia Cinnamon. 20 years from now, I want to know that the next girl that, is coming up, she's not going through the struggles that I went through. And I feel like a lot of our quote unquote veterans, they're not reaching back and giving us, little secrets on like, how not to do this or how not to do that. They're just kind of watching it happen.
Okay, so you've started. We've touched. We're going to go a little bit further when we get back, guys. Once again, here to help you with Alicia Cinnamon.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity in our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Praying a lot. I had to eliminate a lot of people in my life. One thing about fame and one thing about when you have money, you don't really know. People have evil intentions around you, like evil intentions. That's why I just been dealing with things, but it's just like things are getting better, and I'm just glad that I'm eliminating them from my life now, and I'm getting my business and my work together. Like I said, like the music industry is more snakier and more fucked up than the streets. Like the streets, to me, I used to think the streets is grimy. The streets are easier. The streets are way easier. The strip club, bitches used to cut throats in the strip club. This music industry, you just gotta watch out. You gotta get lawyer up. You gotta get business managers up. You gotta mingle with the right people. And I don't really know celebrities like that. I don't really.
All right, so we were just discussing Miss Cardi B. Okay, I was saying that I was kind of giving Alicia the rundown of what she was saying in that video, and Alicia's comment to that was,
I think it's kind of hypocritical to ask for privacy when you came in as a reality TV star. Like, if it wasn't for Love and Hip Hop, we wouldn't know who Cardi B was. Right. So you owe it to your fan base. Like, that's how you got famous. Yeah. So, I mean, if it's different, like, I would say, like, somebody like Beyonce, who was always so low-key. Like, you know what I mean? But she gives you just enough. But when you start off and you're giving people every single thing, you can't now be like, oh, I want to take bits and pieces back, you know. And I feel the same way within myself. Like, I always said my life kind of reminded me of the Truman Show, where when I came in the industry, like, I came in literally through, like, my fans watching me on social media. Like, I transitioned from just the girl on Facebook to, like, oh, she's singing and she's protesting and she's doing this and that. So for me now to be like, oh, I'm not going to let you guys know what I'm up to, I think that's very selfish, because there were so many people that were monumental to what it is that I was doing, whether it was a like or a reshare or just letting somebody know I existed.
Right.
So,
of course.
Yeah.
So last week, as we said, the trials and tribulations, because we're going to actually go back a little bit to the topic of sisterhood. There's actually a reason why you weren't here last week. Last week's show was great, mind you. Dave did an excellent job. You guys should go back and watch that. He's talking about music and why it's so important to us as Africans. Kind of went history with it. I appreciate it for it.
That's what's up.
What people don't know is you still came. You came in like 10 minutes after the show ended.
Yes.
So you still came out here, which I do appreciate. Thank you for that, as I did last week. And you told me a little bit of your story, very little, enough for me to say, okay, let's think about having you back on.
Right.
Right? Because I want you to kind of share. People need to hear things. So tell us what happened last week. What happened last week, why it came to the point where you got here, but it was a struggle. Let's talk about it.
Last week was just like a classic case of like Murphy's Law, and it's just everything was going wrong, and I needed that to happen because I needed to center myself. And basically, it was like the night before I was attacked by a fan, or at least what I thought was a fan. And pretty much this person is an older woman, and this goes back to, like, you know, that the unity, I'm going to take it even further, just amongst Black women and us not really having much elder women to look up to. This lady offered to make a shirt for me for a performance that I was doing, and then it was like she was kind of going back and forth on it. I was doing it because she said she's down and out. She just recently lost her job, and I said, you know what, I wouldn't mind modeling some of your stuff for you and maybe getting you some business. So she kind of was going back and forth on whether or not she was going to give it to me, and I'm like, you know, I can't wait till the day of to find out whether or not you're going to give it to me. So if you want to, great. If not, don't worry about it. The day of, she brought it to me, and I kind of explained to her, like, I already have my outfits. I'm already matching with my dancers and stuff. But if I can't wear it for this one, I'll wear it for my next performance.
Okay.
And when she left, because she brought it to my house, when she left, some money was missing from my house. So I kind of weighed my options, like, because I realized, I'm like, okay, I know she said she was trying to sell it, and if she needed the money, she could have just asked me, you know, this is how much I charge or whatever. But so I kind of counted my losses as, okay, you know, this is a lesson learned. Like, you know, just don't even say anything. Just leave it alone. A couple days later, she was like, you know, messaging me and started harassing me back for the top. So in my mind now, I'm like, you've already paid yourself for this top. Now you want it back to go and resell it again. Like, you know, and just asking me, send pictures of you in the top. And it's like, I already explained to her, I didn't wear the top yet. I have another performance coming up. So it was just a lot of like harassment. And my biggest fear, like from as a child, my favorite movie was Selena. And that's always been like my biggest fear is having somebody who's just overly obsessed with you like that. There's a real thin line between love and hate.
Yes.
And and it was just the mindset. It's like, you know, you stole. So at this point, you know, I brought it up to her. I said, by the way, you know, there was some money that was missing. Maybe you picked it up thinking it was yours. She said she didn't take it. You know, she has all kind of money. She doesn't need my money, etc. So I left it alone. You know, times are passing by. Time is passing, and it's like I just keep getting these random text messages from her, and she lives in my area, so we have to see each other eventually. And you know, she's showed up to a couple of shows and stuff like that. So when I see her, just to show her, like, I know you took my money, but I'm a bigger person than that, I still say hello to her. So I guess that bothered her that she didn't get the reaction. Maybe she took it for a reaction. You know, sometimes people just want that attachment to you. So the last time I said hi to her, and she just started swearing, you know, dirty B, this, that, like, just, you're a thief, you stole my shirt. So I realized, I'm like, this is not the story that I want her to go back and tell people. So I went, got the shirt, brought it to her, and I said, look, take your stuff. I didn't get to wear it yet, and it's unfortunate because I'm not going to, you know, buy the top from you and then turn around and advertise it for free. Like, that's not how it works. If I do promotion for you, you know, that's how I do it. But, like, you know, I got actual clothing designers that are sponsoring me. Like, why would I steal It was just, a little yarn crochet top. Like, why would I steal that? So I was highly offended. And the way that she was trying to present me so some people, I'm very low key when it comes to like my area, where some people know what I do, some people don't. So the way that you're trying to present me, and her being an older woman, if people don't know who I am, I look like a thief.
Right.
So I say, here, take your stuff.
Take your shirt.
And and then I explained to her, because I said, you got a lot of nerve. You stole from me, and I never brought it up. I even left it alone. And because she didn't want anybody to know the truth, she hit me. And
wow.
I don't really fight. Like, I'll tell you about yourself. I'm a firm believer in like speaking. I always believe like there's a resolution before it gets to the physical part.
Right.
So, and I usually am the person to walk away. But just in that regards, it's like somebody put their hand on me. So it took me, I was like, do I fight back? Do I walk away? Like, how do I deal with this?
Better than me,
you know what I mean? Like, it took me a minute. And then finally I was just like, and I reached over and I was ready to just go. And then that's when people jumped in. And I was like, nobody wanted to jump in when she was like, in my face.
Right.
Because it's fun to bully the local artist or whatever it is. You
Stir
want
up
that
drama.
Right. That story that you can go run, tell people that you styled me or whatever it was. But for me, it was more like once everything was all said and done, like I really lost it on her, because I was like, you're somebody you're old enough to be my mother, and you're somebody that I look up to, and you know what I mean? I came to you with like problems and stuff like that. And it's like, why would you do this? Like, there's so many young girls in this neighborhood, so many young men in this neighborhood. None of them ever trouble me. Why would it be the elder, so to speak, to come for me? So that happened the night before the show. I didn't sleep. I have this rule with myself. Like if I wake up with something on my mind the next day, I got to deal with it.
Right.
So I didn't sleep, and it was dragging me back, because it was like, I felt it's that, as the transition between being quote unquote street and industry. It's like the street me would want to beat you up, over and over again. The industry me is like, I have this reputation. What would Beyonce do if somebody attacked her? Do you call the cops? Do you make a report? But then I'm going to be a police Peggy. Like, there's so many different things. Like, so it was that transition of, I know somebody violated me, but how do I go about dealing with the violation? And in this day and age, like, it doesn't stop. If I fight you, then you're going to come back for me. And,
it just escalates to things you don't need to get to.
Right. Yeah. So it was like just weighing my options and I don't like canceling, especially when it comes to my music or anything. Like, I don't like canceling, but it was one of those where my brain just wasn't here.
Yeah.
And so when I was trying, I guess it was the universe telling me, like, you really need to take this time and like just let it sink in what happened to you, because luckily, I mean, who knows if it's finished right now. I mean, I hope she's finished and over and done with it, but it was just a warning for me. It's like, okay, I'm no longer just underground, I'm mainstream, so to speak, and I got to be very careful of where I go and the way that people are seeing me. Like, I'm still seeing myself as Cindy from the block. And they're, seeing me as, oh my God, this is a local celebrity. Like, let's try to figure out a way to attach her or do something. It was like with Drake when he was transitioning and people were beating him up and taking his chain and all that stuff all the time. And it's like, really? Like, why? And then we complain, there's nothing coming from the city. Well, we're not pushing anything that comes from the city. And then when we leave, we're classified as sellouts. And it's like, when I was in Atlanta, nobody troubled me. The only person that troubled me when I went to Atlanta was another artist years ago. That was my last physical altercation. And it was an artist that I brought. Like, one of my girls that I work with, one of my queens, and that was like a real epitome to me of this Toronto mentality. We're not even in our country. We're not even in our city.
You're supposed to be supporting
me, girl. And the only people that are coming from me is my own people. And these are people that I'm like, let me help you. And it's just, a lot of people don't know how to receive help. I think that's really what it is. And you need it, but you don't want to ask for it, and you feel some type of ways if you get it. I'm the type of person, like, I'll ask. If I need help, I'm going to ask for it. I don't have all my stuff together. There's a lot of questions. There's so much more that I have to learn. So I think, like, I don't know, there's a lot of hateration, as Mary J. said it, in the city.
In this dancery.
Right?
Get out of here.
So I just needed that time just to recharge and just cry, like, because I go all the time so much that, like, I never cried so much other than, like, last week, where I was like, I really just need to, like, let it all out. And like, I'm human, and people think like I'm just this robot. Like, they only see the pictures on the Instagram. And that also was conflicting me, because like, I'm a very real person, and I never really wanted to be that person that's only posting pretty pictures and you don't really get to know who I am, the person. And everybody was like, nah, this is too raw. Don't post this. Don't say that. I'm like, but that's what people know me for. And then I started looking at my Instagram. I'm like, it looks beautiful, but I don't know this person. And my audience doesn't know this person. Like,
so you know what? I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to tell you why. I think people need to hear more from you, but I think if people are going to hear more from you, they need to come and see you. So, where can you be followed, sweetheart?
Alicia Cinnamon on every social media platform, or just Google me.
You hear that, Dave? Listen, real story before I go. The first time I met Dave, I told Dave, Google me, bitch. And he found me.
Yeah,
so I hear you.
But you know what? We had a conversation first before I even attempted to Google you.
I didn't say all that. I was trying to, throwing that, girl vibe.
Dave's like, don't make me look like a stalker.
I'm definitely not that gentleman.
So I want to thank you so much, guys. Again, if you want to hear more about her or learn more about her or get in contact with her, respectively, right? You guys know where to find her, Alicia Cinnamon. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for sharing your story. Dave, you did well. You listened?
Yeah, man, I learned a few things today.
Okay, definitely. That's good. So if you guys have any questions, comments, leave them on the bottom there. Share this video out for women. Share this video out. I don't know what else to say to you. This is the real. This is Toronto. This is happening here. See you guys next week on Here
Peace
to Help
and love,
You.
family.
Bye, guys.
You with your girlfriend, baby, and I nearly lost my mind. Thinking about you drives me crazy. How you're such a waste